Welcome to Atomic Construction, episode 3 with Kyle. We got into some interesting stuff, pre-qual, which I think is a freaking pain in the butt, and Kyle's unique approach and support of local contractors. I think this would be a great one for the smaller guys that want to get into construction or into the commercial industry. I hope you enjoy it.
So I'm gonna recite what you told me, and you told me if I'm missing it. Priorities is to elevate construction, promote trades, elevate smart people, get them where they need to go or want to go, disrupt the industry a little bit, shake some stuff up, get rid of some of the things that are distasteful, and promote what we believe is tasteful. I kind of gave us a tagline here: make the trades cool again. I think something you said. Build a community. Within that community or outside of it, have a rich ecosystem of best practices that people can benchmark from.
That is, I think you said it better than I.
It's definitely not. You get authorship credit, but I took decent notes. So good. So 2 things. I think one, freaking A, I wanted to ask. Oh yeah, we talked about it. I think it'd be cool as part of the community to kind of highlight some of the subs, the people that are doing it right, the GCs that are the best to work for it, and frankly, is like highlight the evildoers, right? Like when you're out there screwing subs, like people should know, and they should get their numbers and like we can somewhat hold court, but it's a little dangerous. We'll get a lawyer involved at some point, but. Oh, so what I was thinking that would be fun to do, we were kind of talking about featuring like the guys that build. Like I think the us's of the room. I'm super passionate about getting credit to the guys that have to lace up their work boots that go home muddy every day. Is like doing a feature with them, and there's a lot of Facebook groups, but just to run polls, like I'm curious about is like what's everybody's favorite jean? Like how many like by state? Who's wearing Levi's? Who's wearing Lee's? Like. Is it all Wrangler? Is it Carhartt? Like and like we can get them to, because I really want to keep it free for those guys too. Like I don't want to have a bunch of ads in here. Like I think we do. I'm big on this adless idea. It's like, why are we disrupting everybody's viewing pleasure with shit they don't want? It's like, we're doing jeans on this episode, and like we ask each of the jean this is how I would do it. Is like, hey, we're going to take a poll, and like, if you're good, you're going to get recognized. If you're not, you're going to get recognized, but somebody's got to sponsor it. So who wants to support the pod? And based on views and see, like, we'll just let them bid based on downloads. Like, what are you going to pay? And then like, they'll pay for it. And then we run the survey and like give a couple free pairs of jeans away on Kyle and Kevin, that's what I'm thinking. We could go do it with equipment rentals. We could go do it with Bobcat manufacturers. We could go do it with power tools, like the whole 9.
You mentioned something about the pre-qual. So the pre-qual process, I think that's a good one to touch on how to make that. Maybe people don't understand that quite clearly, and I could just share on it, start us off with what happens from my perspective. So the pre-qualification process, that's something that basically, if you're looking to get into the commercial world, or you are in the commercial world, if I were running a trade, a contracting business or subcontracting business, I would be pre-qualing with everyone in my market, right? All the GCs in my area. I would be submitting my information and seeing if I pre-qual with them. And from us, we require 2 things: safety pre-qualification and your financial pre-qualification. Okay. So those 2 things you want to pay attention to. You want your books looking clean, and you want your safety record looking clean. So if I'm running a business, I want to think about those 2 things, because those are your keys to the door. From a GC perspective, you don't have those 2 things. If you're not qualifying to my standards financially, that means I have to bond you. That means I have to go pay money or get my owner to pay extra money to use you, because your books, your cash flow statements, your financial statements, they tell me that if you get overwhelmed, either take on too much work, or you make a mistake, you get yourself in a bad position, you may not be able to financially dig yourself out of that hole. Ding, 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 ding. Get yourself into a financially decent position, get your books clean, get them audited or whatever you got to do, so that you're in a position to go pursue and win more work and expand your relationships. Number 2, safety. Safety is money. Safety is important. I just got out of an OSHA 30 training class earlier this week. So I spent 3 full days talking about safety. 1,000 people on average die a year in the construction industry. That's insane. Okay. It's a dangerous business we're in. 150,000 people on average have a non-fatal injury every year. So look at those two numbers. 1,000 people die every year and 150,000 people are getting non-fatal injuries. So what we do is risky. What we do is crazy. So those affect insurances. Insurances affect bottom line. And it becomes a money game and a risk game and protect people, right? We don't want injuries on our job site. So pay attention to safety, pay attention to your financials, get those cleaned up and start pre-qualifying so that you can get your foot in the door. Because if you don't do those two things, I'm most likely, unless there's some specific relationship or a specific reason why you are the guy for the job, I'm probably not going to use you, right? Because you bring additional risk, and general contractors already take on an insane amount of risk by getting into this. So I don't want to increase that, right? I don't want to have injuries on my job site. I don't want to have deaths on the job site. I don't want to get into cash problems. And I want you to be able to finish the job, even if you do make a mistake, or if something happens, or if a hurricane comes and hits your warehouse, right?
This is why it'll be good as like target audience. You say safety, they say what? You say mod, they say what? You say TRIR, they say what? And same with financials is like, what I heard you say in my small blue collar mind is like, if I'm not big enough, I can't qualify. And there's a level of that that's just true. And so I think we can dig into that with like I've seen them. There's construction bookkeepers out there, and like, you know, we can start making some recommendation and bring people in. It's like, and I'm just. My books were a mess. I grew a business on terrible books, so it's not that I can't be cleaned up, and WIP is getting confusing and all that. But I just want to wrap the boat on it really quick. Like, so let's say you're building. Let's say we're building a $100 million hotel. Let's understand the finances on your side. So you've got your big has got to be civil. You take me through from biggest to smallest. So like, and we don't have to get everybody, but you're generally on all projects. You're going to have who's on that job.
On a $100 million hotel? Well, we're going to have everybody. We're going to have all 26 divisions, right? How you split those numbers up, you know, the bulk of the cost, if that's what you're asking, like where the cost is at.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny you said that 26 divisions. I think we're division 32. So,
Yeah. Well, they're different. You know, there's 26, there's 32, and there's 16. It's like, it depends what book you're using. But yeah, 32, I think, is probably the most used. But yeah, 32, your exterior improvements or something like that.
You're probably going to have to take me through 101. So $100 million hotel, who's your bigs? Like, who's the big features?
Oh, the bigs are going to be your concrete, your steel, your MEP, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, your framer. Those are probably going to be your big six, right? Drywall and framing, you know, ceilings. It depends how you break that all up, but usually that can be all under framing and drywall. But you can split those packages up how you want. Then you have your finishes, depending on the build. That can be expensive too, but that's usually split out across trades. And then you have the smaller little things like accessories, landscape, and they're still big numbers. Don't get me wrong; they could be $1 million or so. Casework, flooring,
and let's go through a hypothetical. Totally make it up. So you're civil. Let's say 100 million. We'll just pretend Leighton's making 10%, which is probably not true. It's probably 1%, but let's just say 10%. So we've got $90 million in sub costs. Just approximate these big six. If you could break down MEP, it'd be interesting to me.
Yeah. Biggest one, probably electrical. That could be 6 to 10 million. Mechanical, another 5 to 10. Plumbing, another 5 to 10. Concrete could be 5 to 10. Steel could be a couple million. Drywall, framing, ceilings, probably, 4 to 8.
So let's talk about just a small guy that wants to get. Not small guy, small contract. Let's say there's a specialty missed metals. I know specialty missed metals package for $200,000. It's a $200,000 project. What what do you, and you might not know this and I don't, so no shame if we need, but like what do they need to have in their financial package to be pre-qualified for that $200,000 pack? What is it? What needs to be in those numbers?
I don't know the exact threshold. It's a study of free cash flow. Free cash flow, your current WIP, your work in progress, the work in process, what you have currently, what you're under work under process right now, and it's a ratio of comparing how much you're leveraged right now versus how much free cash you have in the bank, assets and liabilities. That's a CFO type equation right there. So don't know the thresholds and don't know the ratios, but you need to have all that in line. Get with your financial officer. They'll know. And you can, obviously, the GC will work with you. The accounting team with that GC will work with you. They'll say, these are the things we need to see to meet the pre-qualification status. It's a yes or no. Are you pre-qualified? Yes or no. Then it comes with a limit usually. So you're pre-qualified up to 600,000. So you can do a job with us up to 600,000, whatever that is. So as long as your scope's under that, and the more your numbers, the better your numbers are looking, that amount goes up or down, whatever that may be. Then there's a thing that if it's a no, then if I need to use you, because let's say you're buddies with the owner, for this happens sometimes, then I need to go bond. I need to go buy a performance bond that says if you shit the bed on this, I can go get the money.
Yeah, you gave me our next 3 episodes because bonding is its own mess. Bid bonds. I think I'm going to speak on behalf of my class. Like I think half of us don't even know what a bond is, but it's an assurity for you guys and the owners that we're not going to go. That's awesome. That's like, yeah, there's so much in here. I think it'd be really fun to kind of dig into each of these. And like, I think we're laying foundations for what is construction 101. That would be my recommended next. You and I sit down and just talk about like, how does a building come out of the ground, right? Just from like to the lay person, kind of marketed towards like, I have a super hard on for tech sales and tech, med sales. It's like, what do you guys do? You guys are peddling stuff you don't believe in. I know you are. Why don't you come peddle buildings, like structure? And like, they all turn their nose up. So it'd be fun to just be like, how does this process come to fruition? Maybe. Who are you guys using to stay on your pre-qual, which was, I think there's like, I circled 3 episodes out of that. Like, we'll talk safety. We'll bring in somebody like a safety insurance person to talk about mods and TRIR and OSHA and all of that. And then cash flow, we'll bring in some bookkeepers, fractional CFO, people in the construction space that can help people. And then bonding, we'll bring in a bondability. But on the whole, because there's like Assure, and I would just like to fall on the sword here. Like, how did I figure out about pre-qual? Big data center, Facebook's coming to town in my backyard, and it's like my first, I'm excited. I'm running like a $10 million company, and it's like a $3 million job, right? And we've always pre-qualified. Safety was always a concern, but we had our mod rates, right? And I didn't do a good job on the sales side. I didn't learn this, but like we pre-qualified and they would have had to write us 3 contracts. They didn't even talk about what you did, like bonding or whatever. Like we showed up, whatever. And I don't know what it was. And I just wish I would have known that because I wouldn't have lost. They said my numbers were good. So it's super freaking important for those of you that don't know, when a big job comes to your backyard, like you don't want to be figuring out what you need to do to pre-qual when it's in your backyard because it's probably too late. So I think this could be super helpful. But all that to say, do you guys have a third-party pre-qual, or do you guys?
No, we do it in-house. Most people do it in-house using their accounting department.
Yeah, we've got a lot of interesting. Okay. That's interesting. Most people they do it in-house, huh? I thought most people were using a third party.
To go pre-qual people?
Yeah, like we just had to pay $1,500 to pre-qual with one GC. It's like, are you going to give us a job? And there was like another one that was like, yeah. And the one I'm talking about was a third party. I think sometimes it's owners on the data center side. I think it's sometimes the owners, like it's one thing to be pre-qualified with Leighton. It's got to be pre-qualified with Meta and Google. They've got their own scrutiny, but I don't know.
So yeah, the pre-qual is that's a process of really checking the box. But I think you could speak more is you got to build those relationships, right? It's sales. It's getting in front. Once you pre-qual, then that's the easy part. It's just, those are just getting your numbers right. Well, you got to do some work to build the business and get your money right. And you also got to do some work and get your people safe and get your mod right. But then it's like, go out there and build those relationships. And you know what? I will say this, like, we're a big company. We don't not want to use small people, right? We like when our jobs, or at least I do, I like when our jobs reflect the community around us, like our projects. So we're not, flying in the big boys from out of state. We don't like doing that. So we rather use people in the community for our projects. That's always a better thing to do. I think you'll get a better result that way. But there's a balance with risk and all that stuff. But whenever we can, we will. It's just like, we got to make sure that you're right. Sometimes we'll okay, instead of awarding this person small drywall outfit, they're not big enough to take on this whole scope of this $100 million hotel. Maybe we can get strategic, take a little chunk out of it and give it to this guy.
You've got to be one of two in the world that actually cares. What do you think? In all honesty, because it's funny because you say that, because I go around to my GCs and I'm like, hey, look, this is our approach. Like, we help the people that can't get bond and can't get safety. Like, we come in local first, and you get to you don't have to write 3 contracts. You write it to me, and like, that's our priority. If we can find somebody local, and they're like, yeah. Like, sure. What's your number? You know what I mean? So how do you think there's a lot of like-minded PMs, execs like you? Obviously your team is probably going to.
No.
So that's what we got to get rid of.
But, I think that comes with confidence in being able to deliver. So that's what I would say. It's like, once you start leveling yourself up, you can start thinking differently, right? So I guess the message is level up.
Yeah.
Call
Kyle. He'll put you to work.
Up.
He cares about you. I tell him all the time. It's like, all I can do is get a GC to respond, and I'm like, thanks for giving a crap. Thanks for pretending to give a crap. Because most of them, it's like, it's tough for us, like the fencers and the landscapers, and I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry about us, but we're small. Like, you're probably more interested to hear from a new local electrical company than you are a new fence guy or a landscaper. It's like,
I understand. What we want, the default is like, you're the fence guy. We don't really, this is like kind of a reality. And I don't know, you kind of have to understand that you're a fence guy, right? We don't really want it. We just want you to come in and just get it done and then get out. Like, we have all these other problems with MEP. They're way more complex, and they affect the function, and they're the core of this project. You're just on the outside, we need a fence because security, right? Duh. If you can communicate and level with them, say, hey, I'm your guy because I know you have so many other things to worry about other than the fence guy. I'm going to make your job easy. I'm going to be that invisible guy that is just tuned into your project. I'm going to slip in, slip out, stealth mode like a Navy SEAL. I'm going to come in and just boom, 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 execute, and you're never going to hear from me. And I'm not going to bring you any problem.
We're one problem away from catastrophic. Nobody ever, you know what I mean? Because there's no patience for us to begin with. And that's super interesting. I want to finish one thing just for my fellow landscapers and out guys. Like, you have concrete. If I want to go through this example, what would you guess landscape, fence, and paving contract on average in that $100 million project? Just so we get them some credit here today.
Oh, landscape,
fence, and your pavers, your asphalt guys.
On that $100 million hotel we're doing it's still got to be a couple $1 million. I mean, depends how elaborate the pool is, and all the bells and whistles. But yeah, I would say across the 3 of them, you're spending $2 to $3 to $4 million.
I just had to give my boys some credit.
I mean, you can make money in fire stopping penetrations in walls. I mean, there's money in that. And if you run your business correctly and you know how to juggle multiple projects, you got good project managers monitoring these things, you have good superintendents managing the workforce, nice operating systems, good communication, good tools, good tech, man, you could do really well, really, really well.
Yeah, it's awesome. I got to ask you, if you were going to start a company tomorrow, what trade would you start?
It'd probably be more on the boring side, to be honest. It'd be more on the, casework, carpentry, landscaping. Maybe because I used to be in that world, but I understand it. It'd be something more on the lower risk side. More, maybe that's just because I'm more of a business guy, and I would just perfect the business side. Just get the machine humming. Yeah, the plumbing, electrical, and that sounds like a little bit of a headache. But respect to those guys who do it well. I mean, holy smokes, it's a tough business. But that's a good question. I'll think about that some more.
Yeah. Come on over, man. The door's open. I won't say much on air, but the door's open.
Kyle's perspective, I think, is super unique for my Resi boys that are not in commercial. Like, you're not going to find many like him. Most of the project managers aren't like him. For the rest of the project management community, y'all should be more like Kyle. As always, we welcome the feedback. If you think we sucked, let us know. Fill out the survey. If you think we were good, drop a like, send it to your friends. We want their feedback too. Help us to make a community of tradesmen. So keep building better. Stay curious. Thanks for tuning in.